folks, once again, Richard from KS Collectibles, here to continue with the work that we were doing on this Chaos Space Marine. So I already did the basic black coat over most of the Marine here, and this is only one coat in. I haven't done any varnish or anything on them, simply because, actually, I'm incorrect. I actually did one coat varnish and then a second coat. So the second coat has not been varnished yet. As you can see on this, I did do some alterations. I cut off all of the spikes but 3, and then with some putty I did a little bit of battle damaging before I painted it. And I am replacing the right arm with this arm here. So I have a red base on it, and then I'm going to do flush tone over it because it's going to be a completely bare arm on there with no armor. And then same with the leg. I did base coat on the leg. Right now I'm just going to do, this is going to be a quick video today, a quick podcast. I got a little bit of heat stroke, and I have been dealing with it for a few days, and it's really, I still don't feel too well. I have a pretty bad headache. My vision's a little messed up still, so just kind of bear with me, folks. I'm going to try to get through this because I do want to deliver on the podcast that I say I'm going to do weekly. So I'm basically going to show you how we start adding our gold. So I have the Vallejo, it's called Old Gold. This isn't the thickest of paints. Usually your metallics aren't super thick. But that's a good thing. I always add a little bit of water, simply because I don't have one of those wet palettes. I need to get one though. And what you're going to do is simply on the, for instance, the outer border on the armor, we're going to do that in gold. And that's all we're doing. We're just, it doesn't matter if you mess up a little bit, because this isn't, we haven't done our final coats on anything. We didn't seal our second coat on the black, so we can always add more black to that, touch up any overage, which is why we didn't seal it. I may have watered this down just a little bit too much, but it's okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your gold, like I said, and go around all that border on the armor. And this is another thing that we're going to do, like I said, like we normally do in multiple coats. Why we're not really worried about the overages or how neat it is right now. We will be doing some cleanup on it all, so don't worry. My eyes are pretty shot right now from the headache anyway, so I can't really see the greatest, and I apologize for that. And that's all you're doing is you're going to continue to all the bordering on this. And I could have used a smaller brush, but like I said, my eyes right now are pretty shot. When I'm painting a lot thinner, I wouldn't really be seeing it right now. So I will deal with the cleanup. So that's basically what you're going to come up with. I'll let that dry. We'll put a second coat. It's not really a second coat. We'll do another layer on that after it dries, and then go over the black for some of the overrun areas, and then we'll end up sealing both. And what we do also is we're going to look on our body, and we know that the crest in the center we're going to also do in gold. So we just take the gold and run it through. You don't really want to pack it too thick. I like my colors to be just a little bit runny, especially your metallics. Put all the points and everything in there. Just the basic. On this, same thing. We want to do the spikes and the outer edging of the armor in gold. And the reason I try not to go super thick with the paint or try to one coat it is, for instance, if I decide that I want it to be worn or battle damaged as I'm doing it, I decide, oh, this spot I want to look a certain way. Well, it's easier to work with it if it's thinner than if it's thicker, and go back and do some alterations on. Either way, it's possible. Any mistakes, I mean, there's no such thing as a mistake. With paint, you can always paint right over it, change things up. But if I wanted to look battle worn and have the gray coming out underneath it, kind of like it is now, you can still see the gray in there, then I don't have to do much more to that right now. I could actually do a wash with water, and what it does is it takes some of that paint away. That's why we use acrylic. Well, not only reason, but since we use acrylics, you can wash some of it away using just water. And since we're not doing a whole lot of gold today, I might have a couple of other things that I'm working on that I can actually... So this isn't a completely just super short video. I will go as long as I feel that I can. Anything for the art, anything for the people, you know. I'm hoping that people enjoy the tips that I give them, and are able to use them and expand on them. Like, you know, there's more than one way to do anything. There's more that people have. There's multiple styles and that people have out there. So don't just do it the way I do. I watch people's YouTubes and listen to other artists all the time. So don't think there's only one way to do anything. Take the time, practice, learn, and find out what it works best for you. Just because it works for one person doesn't mean it works for everybody, you know. Feel free to experiment and just have fun with it. That's kind of the point, is just having fun. And you know, like, I'm just trying to get in front of this. Like I said, the whole customization community is kind of, it's not new, but it's starting to grow, where I think a lot of people didn't know it existed before. And now with the advent of 3D printing and places like Etsy and stuff like that, you're seeing a lot more customs out there, and a lot more people's work out there. So it's becoming a bit more popular and a bit more well known. So now there's a lot more gold I need to do. I need to do the gold on the outer part, the lower part here, around this outer edge on the armor here. Also, if I'm going to do the skull in gold or not. However, I wanted to do something else just to show you another thing that I'm working on this figure, which is I'm going to take some, this is natural steel. This is one that you have to really make sure you mix very well, because it looks almost black when you initially get it. And it has a silverish sheen to it. But what we're going to do is take a little bit of it, a little bit of water, and we're going to spread it out like this on our palette, and we're going to basically, we're going to dry brush it. We're going to dry brush it on the armor. And the thing is this stuff will not, you won't even be able to see it very well until it dries. But it will give a almost metallic sheen to the areas that we brush it on this armor. And I wanted it to be very subtle, so I'm hoping this works the way I want it to. Hopefully it's not too dark. We'll see. We'll have to see. We'll have to get a little time, let it dry, and see what it looks like. If not, I'll have to actually get in there with more of a gunmetal or a silver, because this looks like it might dry a little bit too dark. Maybe that you can see the silver on there, but it might just be a little bit too old. That metallic's not coming out. Which, what if your paints get a little bit too old and they separate, it gets really hard to get them to mix. There are ways to do it. You can add these little metal balls to them that actually help with the mixing. I could pour this all into another, they have like basically mixing bottles, like when you mix your own colors, you put them in these bottles. You put that in that, put them in that, and work with it. See, I can't really tell if this silver's moving or not. It looks like it maybe seems to be a little bit more silver coming out. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. A lot of it has to do with the light too. Like I said, I wanted it to be very kind of subtle. It's just more or less a highlight. I'll show you. Hopefully it comes through over the camera. You can see the way it sheens up in there. Gives it this almost metallic look. It's almost like I put a gloss on it in a way, but it'll catch light a little better. Hopefully once it fully dries, I'll be able to notice it the way I want it to. We're actually going to try it in a couple of spots on the armor. A couple of these brackets to see. And actually, it looks pretty good. Looks like it mixed pretty well the second time around. And that's the thing, is you can take it and do that exact same thing I was just doing here, and you can do it along this piping. And it just adds like a highlight to it. Because it's basically a black silver, or so you can see how it kind of gives it this shiny look as opposed to the plain black. Now this, I mean, instead of just doing it, I mean, I could have painted this in this color in general, and I guess it would have been easier. But since I'm kind of dry brushing it, I'm only going along the tops, so that means inside those lines stay that matte black. So it's kind of the way I want that to look. And if I had my other I can actually show you what this looks like when it dries. Let me see if I can reach him right here. So when this dries, this is what it looks like. That's the steel right there. Along with this right here. You can see how well that silver pops once it dries, and like I said, hopefully it mixed the way we wanted it to. It's kind of hard to tell until it dries, so we will see shortly. Unfortunately, painted over some of the gold, but I'll fix that. Oh man, I have a tremendous headache. Make sure if you're working out on the sun, especially the way it's been here in California, well in the hundreds, that you stay hydrated, and take breaks and eat, and maybe have the proper sleep the night before. All things that I neglected to do. And definitely don't drink energy drinks, because all that caffeine does not help. Okay, now while this dries, we figure out what we're gonna have to do to fix our paint over, our brush overs and stuff. We are going to get our light Keslev flesh. We're going to start working on making this arm actually flesh tone. We're going to do that just exactly the way we've done it before. Flesh tone down, the water, mix it up. I went a little bit heavier on the flesh tone than I normally do, but that is because we're doing this. This is going to end up almost like a zombie tone, so we didn't want the reds to be really predominant on this. Honestly, after I did the red in the first place, I was kind of regretting it because it was an unnecessary step. Because these followers of these dark entities in Warhammer, they through time become more disfigured and basically evil looking based on their loyalty to these dark gods, these chaos gods. So we'll let that dry. See, this is actually kind of the color we wanted. That's why I should have left the blue base underneath it. I'm going to have to to try to find a way to replicate the colors. This is the head I'm using, which is it's the, I think it's called Infected Superman from McFarlane. So I'm trying to match that tone, so I'm gonna have to bring some blues into it and some purples. So like I said, the red was an unnecessary step. And then I'm going to do a little bit of the black touch-up just to show what that looks like before I finish it up today. I wish I could go longer. I wish I could show you guys more. I wish I had a little bit. I could purvey the information a little bit better than I am doing. I'm just really not feeling well at all. So I appreciate anybody that sticks with me this long. So. And the reason this is still gray is I'm going to do this side in a different color. So you just find the areas where there is the paint over, like you can see right here on the spikes. You're just going to quick swipe. That's all we're doing. Cleans it up real fast. Then I'm going to let it dry overnight, and then I will throw a seal on it. And I will probably do the black one more time. So it'll be 3 coats on the black. The gold I might do one more, depending. So I usually don't do more than 2 unless I'm trying to do specific designs or certain types of wear or battle damage. And I don't really think I'm going to do any on this. Do have to get some more gold on that top lip there. And then the same thing coming in the leg. This leg where I started here has the worst. You can see that overpaint right there. And like I said, it's very easy. Very easy. Especially when your base color or your main is black. Black is the best for covering up mistakes. If we were doing this the opposite, it might be a little rougher, but and then when it dries, it looks like you made no mistakes at all. You can see I kind of got some black on the lip down there. That's something I can fix, like I said, with some touch up after letting this dry, because I don't want to put too much wet over wet. Even when it's dry, it becomes tacky. Then you're still pulling the paint off. So you want to let it fully dry before you start. I do have this wrestling figure that I was working on, but I need to do the flush up. And it just so happens I have flush paint right here, so let me just borrow this for a minute. Base coat on that. Alright, that's about does it for us today, folks. I'm gonna go and lay down in the dark because I don't feel better. We will get back to it, doing a second coat on the gold, cleaning it up, making sure that our steel worked the way we wanted it to. If not, we'll do maybe silver instead. Try to figure out the flesh that we're going to use here, or how we're going to do the flesh on this arm, as well as figure out a couple of the other applications that we're going to do for the base of this figure going forward. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Stay classy.